Hi everyone, my name is Karen, this is my channel RatherBeReading, and today I'm bringing to you my October wrap-up. So if you guys have been watching my recent reads video that I filmed throughout the month of October, then you know that October has not been my greatest month. I was sick for a lot of October and it was just a really shit month generally. I wouldn't say, so I've had... 2020 has been the most up and down reading year I've ever had in terms of like numbers of books read. I've had 2 different months this year where I've read 9 books. And then like I think I've been as high as like 28. And then, other months are like 26, 23, and then like I said, as low as 9. So I've been very, very up and down. But those 2 months where I had read only 9 books, I was definitely in more of like a traditional kind of like reading slump, if you will, which even that was strange for me because reading slumps is not a thing that I've ever really experienced. But this month I wouldn't say I was in a reading slump. Like I said, I was just not feeling well and just really wasn't able to dedicate the time to reading that I normally would in a month, which just really affected my numbers in general. Also, very quick apology if you can hear my washing machine in the background. My washing machine, I've got the door to this room and the door to my laundry both closed, and I can still hear it, so I apologize if that's being picked up on camera. My washing machine's just really loud. So let's jump into the statistics and go through everything and talk about how the October reading month went. So I read a total of 10 books. So like I said, only 1 above my 2 low numbers, so still a pretty low reading month for me generally. In addition to the 10 books that I completed, I did have 2 DNFs. The 10 books were just made up straight up of 10 novels. I didn't read any graphic novels or novellas or anything like that this month. The 10 novels were made up of 7 physical books, 2 ebooks, and only 1 audiobook. And then excluding the audiobook, I read 5 books that I owned and 4 from the library. I read a total of 4,064 pages, which averaged out to 131 pages per day. The shortest book that I read was 224 pages, and the longest book that I read was 623 pages. The lowest star rating that I gave was I did give a 1.75 star rating this month, and the highest star rating that I gave was was just a 4 star. I gave 2 books 4 stars this month, but I didn't give anything above a 4. So my average star rating for the month averaged out to 3.20, which is definitely a little bit lower than where I would like to keep that statistic. The worst book that I read this month, so we do my best and worst book of the month. The worst book that I read was Losing Hope by Colleen Hoover, which is the sequel to Hopeless. But special shout out to Hopeless because that was a 2-star read and I also really didn't like that. So those 2 books generally were my worst books of the month. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that, but my washing machine is apparently finished. It's playing its little song. And then my best book that I read over the past month was Plain Bad Heroines by Emily M. Danforth. So now let's check in on my TBR for October. So the books that I put on my TBR and whether or not I got to them. I know that this is, I don't even know if it was as bad as this in the 2 months where I only read 9 books because I read very little from my TBR this month, which is so unlike me. So the first category that I always have on my TBR each month is the library books. So I had Puddin' by Julie Murphy, which I did read. The Special Care and Maintenance of Friendship by Lisa Verge Higgins, which I did read. Talking to My Country by Stan Grant, which I did read. Burkalicious by Becky Wicks, which I actually DNF'd. Spoilers for my recent reads video, which will be going up later this week because I haven't talked about that yet. The Secrets of Lily Graves by Sarah Strohmeyer, which I did read, which again, spoilers for my recent reads video coming up because I haven't talked about that yet either. So I read those / a DNF, and then all the rest of the library books that I had on my TBR, I didn't get to. So they were Bad Influence by Stephanie London, A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness, The Cookbook Collector by Allegra Goodman, and Next Time You See Me by Holly Goddard Jones. Then the next category I have on my TBR is my physical TBR books. So the first 2 books that I had on my TBR was Hopeless and Losing Hope by Colleen Hoover. I've just mentioned those. I did read those this month. I then had Tiny Pretty Things and Shiny Broken Pieces by Sona Terapotra and Donielle Clayton. On my TBR, I unfortunately only got to Tiny Pretty Things. I didn't complete the sequel in the month of October. And then I also had the first book in the Mara Dyer trilogy, which is The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer, on my TBR, which I didn't get to. And then I had my TBR teacup pick for October, which was Into the Water by Paula Hawkins, which I also didn't get to. So I will be making that a priority to get to that one in November. Oh, I just flipped the page in my, oh no. It was the right time to flip the page. Now we get to the worst part that I did on my TBR, which was my NetGalley arcs, which was one of the areas that I needed to do the best in and I did the worst at. So I had The Lake House by Joe Clifford, Liar Liar by Laurie Katz, I Know What I Saw by S.K. Sharp, You and Me by Nicola Rayner, Witch by Finbar Hawkins, and The Girl of Hawthorne and Glass by Adan Jarit Poole, and I didn't get to a single one of those. The only NetGalley arcs, so I did actually read 2 NetGalley arcs in the month, but one of them I was reading, I think, as the month rolled into October, so I didn't have it on my TBR because I was already reading it, and then I ended up bumping up another NetGalley arc, which was Plain Bad Heroines, which I mentioned was my favorite book of the month because it was one that I couldn't put onto my Kindle, and so I needed to read it before the archive date, which I luckily did, but they were the only 2 that I read, and I didn't get to a single one that I actually put on my TBR this month, so that was a massive fail. Then we have my audiobooks that I put on my TBR. So we had The Chestnut Man by Soren Sveistrup, which I did read. We had The Golden Fool by Robin Hobb. So this one I am partway through. I actually started this on the 7th of October and got like 34%. I'm not sure if that was on the 7th and the 8th or just the 7th, but I got 34% of the way through it, and then I just did not pick it up again through the rest of the month because I'd been sick. So I am still partway reading that and do plan to finish it, but I didn't complete it. I then had They Wish They Were Us by Jessica Goodman and Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson, both of which I didn't get to. So definitely a fail on completing the books on my TBR this month. The next statistic that I go into is my Around the Year in 52 Books reading challenge and how many prompts I've checked off this month. So I actually didn't complete a single challenge this month, which is the first month that's happened, but I'm not worried because I was already at 50 out of 52 challenges. I've only got 2 left. So I'm still confident that I can get that challenge completed by the end of the year, but I didn't actually complete any of them in the month of October. Then we come to the goal of getting my TBR to below 400 by the end of 2020. As of 1 October, my TBR was at 410. I read 3 books from my TBR and I hauled none. So my number as of the end of October was 407. So I'm getting there, and it's so disappointing because October was a month, like I said, I didn't haul any books where I really could have like smashed through books and really got that number down, but it just did not work out that way. So I still have to read another at least 8 books really to get it below 400 by the end of the month, which is totally doable. But there's also, like I've mentioned before, like, am I not going to haul anything in that time? I don't know. It gets a little bit dicey as to whether or not I'm going to be able to complete that challenge or not, but I'm still hopeful. So that's it. That is the October reading month. Like I mentioned, it just really did not go the way that I hoped this month, but you know, we all have months like that. Hopefully November will be improved. Stay tuned because I will have my November TBR going up next. But yeah, before I film my November TBR, I better go hang my washing out because, as we just heard earlier, my washing has finished. But that is all I have for this video. I would love to chat with you guys. If you've got any thoughts on my October reading month, how your October reading month went, what are your least favorite and most favorite books that you read this month, I would love to know. Please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe if you want to see more from my channel. That is all I have for this video. Bye guys.